Welcome to Falcon BMS. This is a demonstration of a startup conducted with the virtual crew chief for BMS. This particular software add-in to Voice Attack is used in order to provide virtual crew chief responses for actions taken by the pilot during the startup. The voice is that of a real F-16 crew chief, Bogey Dope. Okay, let's get started on our startup. First step, check the basics. Fuel's on. EPU off. Air to norm. Check our master arm switch, landing gear, handles, etc. Next is battery checks. Flickus check is good, and main to battery to main. We'll drop the lid and we'll set up the lights and radios, etc. Parking brakes and chocks. Interior lights and the anti-icing switch. Okay, now we're going to get the virtual crew chief online and start the engine startup. How's it going, Chief?
Oh, I'm having a great day. How are you?
Just peachy keen, thanks. Let's get this rolling. Comms check.
Loud and clear, sir. How me?
Lima Charlie.
Yeah, standing by.
Alright, let's do our engine startup. Clear for start 2.
Clear forward and aft. Ready for start 2.
And we'll check for a run light. And monitor FTIT and RPMs. By the way, this is an F-16 Charlie Block 40. Sec lights off at 20%. And we're flying BMS 4.37 Update 2. We're flying at El Manad Air Base in the United Arab Emirates in Mideast 128 Theater. RPM's at 25%. Let's throw the throttle over the idle detent and start her up. Standby gens off. Run like quick
Good
off.
start down here, sir. 6 green.
Roger that, Chief. Okay, so we got a good engine start. Let's go through our resets and tests. Flickus reset. Test probe heat. Test fire and overheat. Test all indicators.
Pull up. Altitude. Warning. Jammer. Counter. Chaff. Flare. Low. Out. Lock. IFS. Caution. Bingo. Data.
Okay, now we're ready for the EPU test. EPU off. Ready, clear to pull the EPU safety pin. Clear to pull the EPU safety pin.
Roger, stand by.
And we'll watch for him to take the pin out.
All clear for run up.
Okay, pin's out. We're going to start the EPU and run her up. EPU checks good. Clear to check for flow.
Stand by just a sec. No flow.
Okay, now we can light off all of our avionics. Wait for the DED to come up before we light off the EGI. Meantime, we'll put in what we know to be the barometric pressure. We'll load the DTC. Clear test faults. Go to UFC, stand by on the IFF.
Sky conditions, no significant clouds. Temperature, +28 degrees Celsius. Altimeter, 3001 inches. Al-Minha.
Okay, we check Datus. This model doesn't have a HMCS, so I'm not going to bother turning that on. And now we're set for the next step, which is sec checks. Ready for sec?
Clear for sec. Nozzle closed. Clear for run up.
Sec check's good, back to pry.
Copy. Nozzle open.
Alright, sec checks
Speed brakes clear.
Sec checks are gone. We're going to do speed brakes next.
Speed brakes open. And closed.
You can see that the virtual crew chief is waiting on my input responses to provide his responses back. It's not a timing thing. It's sensing what the sim is sensing. Alright, next we're going to set up for our bit checks. Flight control's clear.
Speed brakes, flight controls clear.
Exercise the flight control surfaces to get rid of all the air bubbles. And we'll set up for our check. flick this reset. And flick us on the left MFD. Clear for bit.
Clear bit.
And initiate the bit test. While we're doing that, we can set up our CMDS, EWS, RWR. Okay, so next step, we'll do some checks on trim. Bit passed, ready for trim checks.
Ready for trim.
I'm actually going to do these out of order so you can see it's responding to my responses. Disconnected.
Copy. No movement.
Connected.
Copy. Roll left. Roll right. Nose up. Nose down. Yaw left. Yaw right.
Okay, next is brakes. Correction, next is our flight control inputs checks. Ready for big movements?
Flight control still clear. Nose up. Nose down. Kick. Roll left. Roll right. Yaw left. Yaw right.
DBU still clear?
Flight control still clear. Nose up. Nose down. Kick. Roll left. Roll right. Yaw left. Yaw right.
Okay, next we'll do the brakes. Ready on the left brake when you're ready.
Copy. Stand by. Ready on left brake.
Virtual crew chief checks the toe brakes. I don't have toe brakes. I use the K key, but you'll see the rudders move anyway. Channel 1.
Movement. No movement.
Channel 2.
Movement. No movement.
Ready on the right brake.
Roger. Stand by. All right. Ready on the right brake.
Channel 1.
Movement. No movement.
Channel 2.
Movement. No movement.
Ready to check the AAR door.
Copy. Stand by just a sec. Okay, ready for refuel door check. Door open.
Now I'm going to hit the disconnect key. We'll disconnect it and It'll pop back to ready. Notice how the crew chief doesn't respond because he doesn't see any door movement.
And closed.
And now he's reported the door's closed. We're done with the crew chief, so now we can let him go. Everything checks out good up here, Chief. Cleared off. You're cleared off.
Roger that, sir. Have a safe flight. I'll see you when you get back.
And that's the end of the virtual crew chief messaging during our startup. I'm going to end the startup here. We continue on and finish up the rest of startup and taxi out. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the virtual crew chief for BMS. Tomcat 2 out.